Hello and welcome another day to the channel, as you have seen in the title of the video. And I come with a Sunday routine. A routine, the truth is that it is very productive, but well, before you say no, I really don't usually do things like that on Sundays that are so deep. Not so much at home, but really like my cleaning routine is usually the goods, trying to leave the house as best as possible. Well, on the weekend, simply that doing maintenance, not maybe Sunday, well, yes, putting in a washing machine or the iron or something like that, but I try to leave as little as possible for the weekend. But as you will see today, we are going to do things, my husband and I, basically, because, well, apart from the fact that it was a weekend, that in the house we didn't do anything, in fact we were bad, and otherwise we haven't been able to do much else. There were things that I wanted to do, such as putting in the carpet. Then my husband also had to organize cables and so on. So it was like a Sunday where we tried to, well, leave the house. Not every day of trying to keep all those little things pending, but every week I start them as lightly as possible. You are seeing me very there only at this moment because I take advantage of the fact that the little ones are still sleeping to, well, start with the house, starting with the living room. Because, well, once they wake up, it's a little more complicated to go. I mean, I'm trying to clean, but hey, they're trying to go after me getting dirty. So it's a little more complicated. If you are wondering if the bucket is from IKEA, the truth is that very recently it is one of the novelties that IKEA has brought. It's a foldable one. So it's great for me to take up very little space in the laundry room. After all those organization, more than you say that you have it in the canal, and what I do is, if I'm only going to clean wood, that is, for example, well, I want to dedicate myself to cleaning the doors because I see that they have little fingers and so on. And well, I take the opportunity to clean doors, not wooden furniture and so on, but just that. What I do is throw in Carrefour wood products. I love how they leave them for me. But if what I'm going to do is like today that you are seeing that I'm giving to glass, that I'm giving to windows, that, well, then what I do, or for example, the sofa, I haven't reviewed it. I put Discipline, okay? I put it in a little cap in normal water and with a Mercadona rag. It looks great on me here. You are seeing the Discipline. It looks great on me. I always try. It's not always fulfilled. I'm not going to be a liar, but I always try to make the house as much as possible collected at night because they make it a lot easier for me, not only when it comes to maintaining, well, that or doing routines in the house itself, but it also makes it easier for me to have the house as up to date as possible, because it's not the same thing to have you put the house in a mess, to organize everything in its place, and also, well, cleaning. That is, it would be a lot more complicated for me now that my baby is already eating. That is, I have to give them, well, breakfast to each one. And not like that. So it helps me a lot to have the house quite advanced at night. You have seen that I left the kitchen cleaned up last night. The only thing left for me was the air fryer basket to wash, and that's it. Then I move on to the studio, which you know is very good, that the studio is one of the first changes we made in the summer. And I also have here stored on the subject of little girls' toys and so on. So I try to keep the dust off because whether you like the basket or not, in the end, they take up a lot of dust because they are always millet. Running it across the floor, that is, he carries it around like a mop, basically. And now you see me here that since the little ones are already awake, we are going to start taking out the carpet. The carpet, I usually always leave it clean. When I pick it up, I have it behind the couch, so it's time to separate the couch and get it out. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to vacuum it very well, although I still have to clean it with. Well, excuse me, but my daughter is at the time of learning colors, and she is taking out toys, and depending on the color, because of the screams, what she is saying, I take out the carpet and I am waiting to throw it out. I think I have already taught it on some occasion here, and it is a Sanitol product that is special, a disinfectant for dust mites and so on for textiles, so I have it pending. I have yet to do it on the carpet, but it is true that it could not be used for around 8 hours, and that complicates me a lot with the little ones because they really use the carpet a lot, to be honest. So it's like an extra plus to my daily routine because whether I do or not, I always run the East corded vacuum on the carpet that has a wonderful suction capacity. I always tell you I hesitated at the time without buying one wireless, one wired. But the suction capacity, that is the force it has to suck the dust, is much greater than that of cable. It is even much greater than that of the theft that happens every day in my house. So that's why I decided on this one. Well, mine specifically is to mark Seco T. I have no problems with Seco T vacuum cleaners. The two I have are from the same brand, and that's why I repeated it again. What, yes, as I tell you, I spend it daily in the formula because the little ones live on the carpet. That is, my daughter Martina uses it a lot because she already crawls. So you can imagine that it is like the point for the two of us to be there all day playing, right? One thing I'm going to do is put this little feather that I have under the sofa. The truth is that I love it. Look, it takes out all the gossip that may be there from my daughters. It takes out any residue of fluff, and that is something that since I like to do it as usual, not to leave much, even now that I have the carpet on, I don't mind pulling it back a bit and also passing it through. Then I simply take away what the mopita he brings is, which is like, as if it were a microfiber cloth, no, and I directly by hand, that is, after removing all the lint by hand, I clean it with Mistol and stretch it out, and it dries super quickly and works, well, you see, super well, and I take advantage of that to vacuum everything very well. Whatever I took out to put the carpet on the floor is already clean, although I have to say that, although I have not recorded it before, I have already cleaned the floor. Good for everything to be well cleaned. And once it was put on and vacuumed, obviously, well, let's pass this gauge. The truth is that I have to tell you that I love it. That is, I pass it practically almost daily because it is true that the vacuum cleaner sucks you very well, doesn't it? And although my carpet is short-haired, but like it or not, there are certain things, such as the hairs that fall out on me, right? Well, it seems to get tangled in the fibers themselves of the carpet, and even if you vacuum, it is very difficult for you to remove it, especially if you get tangled in the threads of the carpets, and that takes everything away from you. Now you'll see, for me it's wonderful. It cost me cents in thermos, and I would repeat it 1,000 times because the difference is very noticeable in terms of what everything that rips you off is, not those carpet fibers. Here you can see that I am casting the Nordic. The truth is that I have not yet changed the sheets to the typical ones because they are thicker. Do we continue sleeping with this finita? But I already know that the Nordic is being asked for and more and more. Although I have to tell you that we already sleep here, obviously, with everything closed, so that's what you want, right? Well, closing everything in the afternoon makes the house much hotter. But hey, it was something I had to do. It's also true that last year I kept it without. Having washed it, so I needed to catch up before it weighed too, because the weather was super bad and it would be much more difficult for me to dry it because I usually wash it directly at home. And now we are going to start laying out all the blankets that I have already laid. Well, after washing that, we are also going to start laying the sheets. I always try that when I do that as a guy, if it helps someone, right? When I usually change sheets, I wash them directly, both now and in winter, because it takes a lot from you. In other words, not having some sheets or a blanket takes up a lot, and in the end, the clothes end up overflowing. That visual noise creates a lot of anxiety for me. Removing sheets has helped me a lot. I put a washing machine, right? It would be like I organized that I have to put that particular washing machine. And well, that's because in one day it ends up drying and they take you out of the way a lot. You don't have that non-mental thing of saying, well, I still have this pending and that makes me late. Well, all the rest of the clothes. Then here you can see that of the little I still had left to organize because I had this drawer left, which are I had this theme organizer on the scarf. So I'm going to take the opportunity to leave the entire drawer as organized as possible, especially so it is more functional for me to have them worn that way and that it can look much better. You have seen my daughter Anna, and I kept her aunt as my bride and I showed her because she still didn't see that well. Do you see the end result here? I really like those organizers. They are worth, I think, $1 or less, and look how well the drawers look even for cleaning it. It is very easy to take it out there. I already have everything organized, also the sweater drawers, and here you see my husband who is going to dedicate himself to cleaning the entire area of the back of the furniture. The truth is that it is furniture. Yes, I remove it. Well, yes, just like the sofa, I can't remove it often enough. I mean, quite often, don't think that I remove it all week, but he is not one of those people who remove it once a year. You can remove it, well, every 3 months or so. But it is true that it is an area that will be due to the amount of cables there are. That is, it accumulates a lot of lint and dust, and it was a remedy that we had to put on it. So we got some special Velcro tapes from Temos that sell special Velcro for this to organize the cables, and they look super good. The area is no longer only visually because it is much more orderly, but it is so orderly, it accumulates a lot less amount of dust. And obviously, if it is true that it looks at everything that is there to be sorted and cleaned, and it is like very lazy, not that task, but you get yourself. And my husband dedicated himself to it for a long time and left everything super well. But then there was leftover, that is, it was worth cents, and a giant roll, ordered all that. We ordered the cables in the office, and then separately I was also able to order the cables behind the bedside table, so it's super good and we still have it. Super good for the price and for the functionality, because I already tell you that after being in use it doesn't fall off, it doesn't go like Velcro. Velcro is quite resistant. It's as if it were a kind of FISO, so to speak, the operation. What happens is that instead of using it as a FISO because it is Velcro, but you can twist it as you want to make it safer, not like giving greater strength to the grip of the cables. So very good. Is he doing everything with the vacuum cleaner? Obviously, so that the least amount of dust is raised. Basically, because I have cleaned before, the carpet is already there. So the fact of having the carpet already laid, well, that causes any dust to go there. So that's why he is doing his best with the vacuum cleaner, and that's where the help can never be lacking. So nothing, if you have come this far, well, I leave you. That is, I thank you as always for seeing us a day more. Likewise, you are new guest to subscribe to not miss anything. As you can see, we are always busy with one thing or another. Please leave your like. You help me so much because it makes YouTube continue to recommend me and continue growing, helping me bring you higher quality videos. Nothing else. See you in the next video. Here, I also leave you the networks in case you want to follow us and get to know each other better. Thank you very much for seeing me, and see you in the next video. Bye.